Well, Arise correspondent Ovieteme joins us now from Baku, Azerbaijan, for an update on the UN climate talks. Good morning and welcome to the morning shows today.
Good morning. It's freezing cold here in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Good morning from Nigeria, from Lagos.
I can hear you. Steve Ayorinde, good morning. I can hear you quite clearly.
Yes,
right.
You said it's freezing cold out there in Azerbaijan, but you're there for a climate summit, and you know your report earlier was absolutely amazing, showing the community cost to the flaring of gas. And you know we also have climate issues when we've had flooding this year. Climate shocks are affecting our food. We have 39% food inflation in Nigeria, but in Azerbaijan, the president there is saying that oil is a gift from God, and it seems that he's disrupted COP29. So I want to ask, how severely has the host nation disrupted the ideals of the COP29 summit in Baku?
Well, I wouldn't confidently say it has actually disrupted, despite being the host nation. It's just a man expressing himself, sharing the opinions of his people, which they hold very dear and near to their hearts. Perhaps oil is the reason the city, that is Baku and other parts of Azerbaijan, is so well developed. So he was just expressing himself here. Now we know that in exploring and exploiting for oil, definitely fossil fuels will be burnt. And that is the challenge here. When the world is saying, come on, let's transit to cleaner and renewable energy, countries that produce oil may be verbally committing to that advocacy, but are not actually walking the talk. Let's come down to Nigeria if you can. We operate a mono-commodity economy. Since oil was discovered in commercial quantity in Oloibiri, well, in Otabage, popularly called the Oloibiri oil field, in June 1956, that has been the mainstay. Agriculture was effectively relegated to the background. So oil is what sustains our economy. That is why anytime there are very high-level cases of crude oil theft, it affects everything that we do. So for countries that actually produce oil, just phasing out fossil fuels, it may not be something they want to jump onto and say, let's do. But you see, there are bigger countries here who are beneficiaries, who are major polluters of the environment. Greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere, everyone suffers for it. And they make commitments, financial commitments every year. We want to do this, we want to support. So many environmental activists are saying, there is little element of sincerity on that part. Now, was it Wednesday last week, President-elect Donald Trump was saying something that he thinks it's a scam, that is a Green Deal is a scam. That presupposes that whatever the American delegation says here may not hold water when DJ Trump returns to the White House in his second missionary journey. He may have to scrap that. So you see, the concern here is the bigger countries should help the smaller countries, vulnerable countries, to go through it. So how well can that be done? Now, you saw my report and you're talking, it was a bit fantastic. Well, for me, it was a call for global attention. You heard the king there, Bubaraye Dakolo, calling for the world to intervene. Why would he say so? Because the regulatory agencies in Nigeria are not actually living up to expectations. Nigeria itself, as the federal government, what is Nigeria doing? Yesterday at the Nigeria Pavilion, the Bayelsa State delegation had a meeting, and of course the report which was presented 2 weeks ago in Abuja, a report that started first with former Governor Henry Serake Dixon, and that was sustained by President Governor Senator Daoye Diri, talking about environmental cleanup, reparation, compensation. And this is it. What was presented to the Minister of Environment yesterday is titled An Environmental Genocide, counting the human and environmental cost of oil in Bayelsa Nigeria. So you see, the talk has been on and on. Fossil fuels should be phased out, stopped completely. There are some protests actually holding in Baku, Azerbaijan. That is the venue here. Different countries coming to talk about fossil fuels should be stopped. Fossil fuel ads should be stopped. There is no need promoting it at the expense of the people. Now, many talk of carbon credit, carbon streaming, carbon capture. Yeah, it's a good thing for vulnerable communities and countries to benefit, but the people must be alive, first of all, to have access to those credits. So, gradually phasing out fossil fuel is not something that should be slow. It should be accelerated to preserve life, to preserve humanity, and to preserve this world that we live in. Steve Ayorinde.
All right, Ovieteme, thanks. That's a good one. But then tell us more about the Nigerian delegation and the Nigerian pavilion. Neither the president nor the vice president is in Baku. We know what happened when Glasgow hosted, COP26 or COP27. We saw what happened last year in Dubai when Nigeria had a very huge delegation. I'm aware that many people are also looking forward to COP30, which will hold in Brazil. Two things, Ovieteme. What is the quality of attendance for Nigeria like in terms of the top echelon of the Nigerian government, and what are they saying to the issues on the ground? And then secondly, what is Baku like? Is it the type of a city that people are reluctant to want to visit, unlike Glasgow, unlike Rio or Dubai or London? What is Baku like during the day, at night, the things that you have witnessed?
Steve Ayorinde, you want to come down to Baku? If you come here, you want to, you may have planned to stay for a week or two, but you might end up spending at least a month or a year here. It's a beautiful city. But first, before I lose track, let me go back to the question you asked about Nigerian delegation. Let's deal with that before we come to the lighter note. Let's deal first with the weightier matters. Well, the Nigerian delegation here, I really can't go around to ascertain the number because there are different pavilions, there are different programs ongoing here, so you really can't see. But I've seen a few persons, I can say these are Nigerians who have come here to do business technically, because this is more like a financing COP, a marked departure from the previous COPs, including 28 in Dubai. Okay. The Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekperikpe, I saw him earlier. I think he has had a program or elsewhere doing another program. So, okay, that's the Minister of Environment was in the Nigeria Pavilion. He was also a guest when the Bayelsa contingent discussed a lot of issues concerning the pollution affecting the people. The project coordinator of High Prep, Professor Nene Barini Zabi, is also here. But for that, okay, Senator Henry Seriake Dixon, former governor of Bayelsa State, he was quite active. He's been attending a lot of functions by reason of his position, or rather portfolio, if you like, in the Senate. So a lot of persons, the president of the Ijaw Youth Council, Jonathan Lukobri. So, but look at the difference. Last year, we had President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in attendance, and we saw Nigerians in their droves. Some actually came here not to do anything, perhaps just to gallivant. But this year, the big man is not coming. They have all disappeared into thin air. Is it that it was eye service, or because there is a ban, more like limited number of trips and travels to other countries as instituted by the presidency? So Nigerians are not really that many here, except those who are in non-governmental organizations pushing the advocacy, like the Health of Minaret Foundation, its executive director, Nimo Basi. They also had an action program here protesting. So Nigerians, the few that are here, are actually focused on what they have come to do, unlike last year when they came to gallivant. Well, I hope you didn't hear that. Let's come back to Baku. By day and by night, this is one city you would love to be in. It's freezing cold here. Before coming, I checked. I Googled and I found out that Baku could be very cold from November 25. Somehow, whoever made that prediction deceived me. I came quite early thinking I would leave by tomorrow. Now the cold is freezing and biting here. So Baku is a beautiful city. All lit, all green, eco. I say eco again. I haven't seen plastic bottles. I haven't seen any yet. You know, there's this talk about plastic pollution. So what the water we get here is in bottles. So even the cars, CNG vehicles, everything speaks of greenery. Speaking of that statement that there should be low emission of greenhouse gases and fossil fuels. So if you are hosting, I think one of the criterion is you must be able to practice that which you preach. Baku, Azerbaijan cannot be hosting this event and at the same time be showing plastic bottles and all that. Even the gas stations, everything is just the world advocacy and sustainability, renewal energy. So that's just how it is here. It's a beautiful city at day and also by night. If you want to come, Steve, I can book an apartment for you to spend 1 week here. 1 week, just 1 week.
All right, Ovieteme, George, thanks for the good offer and thanks, of course, for the brilliant analysis, as always. Enjoy the rest of your time in Baku, Azerbaijan. Thank you indeed.